Gangsters celebrate the killing of the leader of a rival gang. New York, 1916. The most obscene swimsuits of the 19th century. Ronaldinho once said, "My father taught me that I needed to learn how to control the ball barefoot to better feel my feet, and I promised him that I would control that ball like no one else. But the truth was, he didn't have enough money to buy me shoes. When I won my first Ballon d'Or, I didn't cry from joy. I cried because I no longer had a father." Photo of a Soviet war veteran near the eternal flame on the anniversary of Victory Day, 1966. A group of young women holds posters condemning alcohol. This was the movement in support of prohibition in the USA, 1919. May Capone, wife of the famous gangster Al Capone, wraps herself in furs trying to hide from press cameras while visiting her husband at Alcatraz prison, 1929. A temporary morgue at the Seguro Social Baseball Stadium in Mexico. One of the most destructive earthquakes in American history occurred in 1985, killing 10,000 people and injuring 30,000. Auschwitz, 1944. German officers and guards have fun while countless victims are killed and cremated daily in the nearby death camp. Ray Park getting into character on the set of Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, 1999. Children take cover in an underground shelter to escape the explosions, Spain, 1938. Women from North and South Vietnam, survivors of the war, witness the reunification of their country, 1975. 8 soldiers of different nationalities in German captivity, left to right, Vietnamese, Tunisian, Senegalese, Sudanese, Russian, American, Portuguese, and British, 1917. Liquidators prepare to clear the reactor roof. Many of them would soon die from radiation sickness caused by exposure. During the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster, 1986. A random lifeboat found months after the Titanic sank in 1912. Inside were 3 dead bodies who had initially survived the disaster. Henry Ford with the first car of his own production, 1896. Chinese Americans protest against scrap metal exports to Japan. Your children and wives could be next. This metal will be turned into bullets, 1939. Cyclist on a self-made wooden bicycle, Estonia, 1912. Chemists from Polaroid and the reagents they tested, 1963, USA. This is exactly how toilets were designed in the Middle Ages. Prisoners cleaning the streets of Washington, USA, 1909. Punt gun used for duck hunting, banned because it could kill up to 50 ducks at once, 1910s. Stalingrad, December 1942. A notable 4-year contrast of Abraham Lincoln during wartime in 1861 and 1865. Cave paintings depicting the daily life of people, Wadi Jerat, Algeria, 2000 BC. Border guards of East Berlin increased the height of the Berlin Wall by adding barbed wire to prevent attempts by residents of the USSR to escape to Germany, 1961. A diver after inspecting the interior of the sunken battleship Arizona, the day of the attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. In the 1950s, Italy produced protective shoes for women. These shoes were equipped with spurs on the heels and toes so that women could protect themselves from persistent admirers. Motorized baby carriage, 1922. No seatbelts or helmets. Venceslao Miguel, a prisoner during the Mexican Revolution. Sentenced to death by firing squad, Miguel was shot 9 times, all hitting their mark, but he survived, escaped, and lived for many more years. 1753. Russian physicist Georg Wilhelm Richmann was killed testing atmospheric electricity. He accidentally created ball lightning that struck his forehead. Teaching Papuans how to use condoms. Papua, Indonesia, 1960s. The first state of Levi's Company, founded by Levi Strauss, 1853. Protests at the Miss America pageant, 1969. The sign, "All women are beautiful," challenges societal beauty standards. A German soldier next to a shell with the inscription, "I didn't want war," France, 1917. Just minutes before the hanging of Nazi war criminals, February 2nd, 1946. In 1918, Frances Griffiths and her cousin photographed what they claimed were real fairies and became famous overnight. It wasn't until 1983 that it was revealed this was the world's very first major hoax. White slaves on the plantations of Barbados. Light-skinned slaves were cheaper than dark-skinned ones, as they were less resilient and obedient. Way of fighting vagrancy in early 20th century USA. The vagrant was strapped to a chair and left outside for 10+ hours. Children and weather added to the torment. After that, most left town. In the Greek theater, there was a special position, a rabdouche, whose duty was to beat overly rowdy spectators with a stick. Would you take such a job? Initially, Halloween lanterns were not made from pumpkins. In the 19th century, turnips were used for this, and such lanterns looked truly horrifying. The mass extermination of cats during Pope Gregory IX's time contributed to the increase in the rat population, which led to the spread of the bubonic plague, killing hundreds of millions of people. Crime reporter Vlado Teneski reported on serial murders in Macedonia, crimes he had actually committed. Police caught him because he published details only the killer would know. After DNA confirmed his guilt, he was found dead in his cell, his head in a bucket of water. The crew of the Pueblo returns to the U.S. after 11 months of captivity in North Korea, 1968. Boxer Raymond Johnston spars with a Mustang, September 15th, 1926. Winner of Britain's Most Feared Woman Award, 1883. Men's hairstyles from the 18th century. On October 22, 1895, a train, running at full speed to make up for its delay, failed to brake in time. It crossed the Montparnasse station, broke through the facade, and went 10 meters beyond. U.S. Crisis, 1931. Gangster Al Capone was one of the first to organize food for the poor and homeless during the Great Depression. An American paratrooper, North Korea, 1950. Maharaja Jai Singh, drawn to the luxury of Rolls-Royce, visited a showroom in London in casual clothes. His unrecognizability led to an incident where nationalists mistakenly took him for an ordinary Indian and expelled him from the showroom. Instead of anger, he bought 6 cars and sent them home to clean the streets. This caused a scandal and damaged the Rolls-Royce brand's reputation, associating it with garbage in the public eye. A march of the American Nazi Party in support of Hitler, New York, 1937. In 18th century England, rapists always walked free. If the victim did not become pregnant, the crime was not considered proven. If she did become pregnant, the court ruled that she had received pleasure, and the offender was acquitted. A brothel for German soldiers organized in a former synagogue, 1940. Judging by the photo, it was exclusively for soldiers. The gaze of an emaciated American soldier liberated from a German prisoner of war camp. Limburg, Germany, 1945. U.S. Air Force planes fly over burning Kuwaiti oil wells, 1991. Robert Wadlow, one of the tallest people in history, 1939. When he died, his height was 8 feet 11 inches, weight 438 pounds. This rare 1917 photo shows one of the most unusual prototypes of individual protection during World War I. This invention belongs to Dr. Guy Brewster, an enthusiast in defense technology who dreamed of creating a light and effective armor for infantrymen, but his dream never came true. German man accused of associating with a Jewish woman. I am a defiler of the race. Germany, 1935. 15th century underwear found during castle renovations in Lengburg, Austria, a sensational discovery in medieval fashion history. Prayer for peace, 100,000 monks praying, Thailand. Horse-drawn combine harvester. In this photo, the English wizard Alex Sanders, self-proclaimed King of Witches, is initiating a young novice into the mysteries of the magical arts. The wizard placed the naked novice in a circle, then lay on top and recited incantations. Thus, the girl became a witch. Sanders died on April 30th, 1988, after a prolonged battle with lung cancer. Confederate and Union soldiers shaking hands at a Battle of Gettysburg reunion, 1913. Sanitary dog finds a wounded soldier, World War I, 1916. People brought their dogs to be euthanized as they were unable to pay the increased pet tax, Berlin, 1926. During the grueling search at Ground Zero in 2001, rescue dogs began spiraling into depression because they were only finding bodies. To boost their morale, volunteers hid in the rubble, allowing the dogs to find living survivors and restore their spirit. Chicago explodes in rage the day after Martin Luther King Jr.'s death as people take to the streets. USA, 1968. An intoxicated woman is detained on the street while the policeman wears a rather mysterious smile. The caning of a negligent student, a common occurrence for those times. Wisconsin, USA, 1905. An ultra-light horse-drawn vehicle in motion in Paris, 1943. Russian Imperial Army soldiers in gas masks, World War I. Nebraska resident Audra Thomas photographs herself as a tornado approaches her farm, USA, 1989. Protest outside a movie theater, showing the pornographic film Deep Throat, New York, 1972. Outside the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, after a demonstration against the U.S. military invasion of Lebanon, 1958. Brigitte Bardot, the sex symbol of the 60s, but beauty does not last forever. German soldiers testing the strength of the gallows before executing suspected Soviet partisans, 1941. An American Marine offers a doll to a child, Vietnam, 1965. In 1910, safe razor inventor King Camp Gillette offered former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt a large sum of money to head his corporation in Arizona. Roosevelt declined, saying he didn't trust someone who made razors and wore a mustache. The image of a 21st century man, according to Vogue magazine, 1939. A girl from Arizona writes a letter to her sailor boyfriend in the U.S. Navy, thanking him for sending a Japanese skull, 1944. Hippo Phoebe and her baby refusing to pose for the camera at the Bronx Zoo, 1967. Feminist Ellen Wagner stands beside 350,000 signatures demanding women's right to vote, Sweden, 1914. A youth trend of the 50s in the U.S. If a girl wears a dog leash on her left ankle, she has a boyfriend. If on the right, she's looking. Stepping into a new era, the first black student at a white school, 1954. Group school photo, Austria, 1899. In the center of the back row, 10-year-old Adolf Hitler. Owners of Turkish taverns hired porters to carry overly drunk regular customers home, 1960s, Istanbul. A bicycle corps of the Netherlands Army on the eve of the German invasion in 1940. In the USSR, a tax on childlessness existed from November 1941, which amounted to 6% of the salary. The basketball team of the Kailako Indian School. This symbol once represented Luck, USA, 1908. The Nazis used victims' hair to produce socks, fuses, ropes, and mattresses. Camp commanders had to report monthly on the amount of hair collected. A military trick by German General Lettow Vorbeck. The youngest soldier at the end of the line jumps into an elephant's foot, trampling the tracks. German East Africa, World War I, around 1914. 3 children sift sand at a gold mine in Dominion, Alaska, 1898. Adolf Hitler accepts birthday congratulations from youngsters of the Hitler Youth, April 20th, 1945, Germany. 10 days later, Hitler would be gone after realizing the war was lost. A Native American tribe leader visits his son, a tank crew member in the U.S., 1954. Cornell University students learn the intricacies of ironing in a home economics class, 1951. Croatian women display their traditional tattoos. These pagan patterns were worn by Balkan Slavs to avoid forced conversion to Islam. A young woman writing a thank you note to her boyfriend in the Navy for the skull of a Japanese soldier that he sent, 1944. Republicans were inspired by abstractionism and surrealism. They created special torture chambers for captured Francoists during the Spanish Civil War. These rooms contained beds with a 20-degree incline, floors with randomly placed bricks, and paintings on the walls. Torture also included watching the film Un Chien Andalou. Gas-powered taxis, London, 1940. Such a car could travel 50 kilometers on the gas stored in roof cylinders. Ma Barker, the mother of all American gangsters, organized the Barker Gang. She was killed along with her son Fred in a fierce, hours-long shootout with FBI agents who surrounded her home in 1935. Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!